Hey, you guys, welcome back to another episode. Happy Monday morning. As I'm recording this, it's Sunday, September 1st. I cannot believe it's already September. It's also my birthday month. But I was getting ready today for my brand new, never before done masterclass. It's WTF do I say in the DMs? And I wanted to share a little bit about how this masterclass came about. And then I had a realization today and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to record this as an episode because I have to get this out into the world ASAP because people just need to hear this. And so probably when you're listening to this, this won't even have it won't even have an introduction. It won't be edited because I won't have time to get it over to my amazing editor. So it's just going to be raw here. You and me today, Monday morning, just diving right in. So like I said, I was getting ready for this masterclass. What do I say in the DMs? And this came up, this masterclass idea was kind of a download after somebody had told me, gosh, Sandy, you are so good at this. When she had asked me, she had sent me a picture of something a conversation that she was having in the DMs with a potential client. And I get this often, like clients will send me messages and they'll be like, how do I respond to this? What the heck am I supposed to say to this? Like, how do I navigate this? How do I handle this? How do I guide this conversation so I'm not in the like friend zone, but I also don't want to lose this client. I really want to work with this person. I really think that I can help them, but I also don't want to be salesy. You know, all of these things that come up when we're having these conversations. And so I was helping her, talk this through with her inboxer, and she replied and she was like, oh my gosh, Sandy, you are so good at this. Like, I need to practice doing this. And it's funny to me to hear somebody say that to me because I literally was the person that would freeze up when it was time to have a sales conversation, when it was time to, respond to questions or objections or just, very basic, simple questions in conversations that I was having in the DMs about the work that I've been doing, the work that I do. And so it was funny to me to hear her say, you're so good at this, because a year ago, I was not so good at this. I was, again, the person that would like totally freeze up. I was the one that would screenshot the conversation. I would send it to my coach and be like, help, what do I say? How do I respond to this? I don't know what I'm doing. And I would just totally completely freeze up. So, and then I realized too, I have this conversation with clients often. Like, this is something that happens at least 2 to 3 times a week where we're working through, like, what do I say? How do I handle this? How do I guide this conversation? And so that's where this masterclass came from. And I was super excited about it. Of course, I still am super excited about it. But as I was working through this masterclass and what I wanted to share and what I want you all to know about these conversations is that it's really so much deeper than just what do I say in the DMs? Like, I could very easily just give you like a template, give you a little outline or a plug and play type situation. But I realized that it is so much deeper than that. This idea of like, what do I say and freezing up, it comes down to so much more. And as I'm working through this masterclass, I was like, I need to share this with people. I need people to know that, number one, it's okay if you're in this spot, if you're in this space where you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to say. But I also want you to think about the future version of you and this person that has this thriving business that's making, the income that you want to make in your coaching business or whatever business it is. She's probably not freaking out about conversations that she's having both in the DMs and in real life because they're kind of one and the same, right? I used to think that conversations in real life were actually even scarier than conversations in the DMs because at least in the DMs I could have a little bit of space, a little bit of time to like think and formulate a response versus in real life. Like, I was always terrified that I was going to say the wrong thing or I was going to word something the wrong way or I was going to lose this potential client, or I wasn't going to be able to explain exactly what I do and how I do it and why it's so transformative for people. And it's funny because, that you hear that saying, like, you can never say the wrong thing to the right person, which I do believe is true. But for us, like, perfectionists out there, that doesn't help. That doesn't, like, it doesn't help. Like we still want to say the quote unquote right thing. So I'm working through this masterclass, and like I said, I'm like, this is so much deeper. So today I'm just going to walk you through a really brief. No, actually, it's probably not going to be really brief. I'm going to walk you through why you are having a hard time with these conversations, both the DMs and in person. And again, I keep saying it's so much deeper, right? Because the clients that I work with too, once we start to dig this up, that's when their confidence starts to roll in. That's when they start to see themselves as the expert, as an authority. And again, like if we're thinking about your future self, like, okay, so you're having this conversation in the DM and you freeze up and you're freaking out and you message your coach or you message whoever and you're like, help me figure out what to say to this. Oh my gosh, like da da da. Like what would that person on the other end of the convo be thinking if they could see you in that moment? Would they be seeing you as the authority? Would they be seeing you as the expert? The answer is probably no. And the reason for that is because you're not seeing yourself as the authority or as the expert. So take a second and let that sink in, because as long as you're seeing yourself as a beginner in this, like, I'm just a beginner, I don't know what to say space, your audience is going to see you like that too. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to be a beginner. We're all beginners. We're all new. Like at this business thing, we're all like, it's okay to be new. But the thing is, it's a very different energy to come at a conversation or step into a conversation with this energy of, I'm just a beginner. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I don't want to mess this up. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to, all of these things. Versus, okay, yes, I'm a beginner, but I also have a shit ton of knowledge and expertise and to share with my people that I know that they need. So it's okay to be a beginner, but we need to start to shift to see yourself as the authority and as not just a beginner, but as somebody who, yeah, maybe you are a beginner. Maybe you haven't seen or worked with a bunch of clients. Maybe you don't have a ton of testimonials. Maybe you don't have a bunch of people reaching out to you in the DMs and you're doing the legwork in the beginning here. But we need to start stepping into this identity of, I have so much to share. I am the expert. I am the authority. And in this masterclass, that's what I'm actually going to share with you. We're going to get nitty gritty into how to do this, but I'm going to walk you through this today just because, again, like I was like so worked up. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much deeper than just knowing what to say or having this plug and play response or template or having this thing that I can copy and paste in every time that works every time. It doesn't work like that. And it doesn't work like that. I know you know that, but I still get the questions often like, okay, I'm having this conversation, like how many times should I go back and forth before I'm able to like pitch my services, or how do I guide this conversation? Like what are the words that I say to guide this conversation? Yes, it's part of the words, but part of it is also, probably a bigger part of it is your energy too, and how you view yourself. So the question then becomes, how do I start to see myself as an authority, and what's getting in the way of that? Because your people want to buy from somebody that is confident and that sees themselves as the authority, not as like this, like, I'm the beginner. I don't know what to say. Like, it's just, no, like we're not doing that anymore. We're moving, we're going, and we're seeing ourselves as the expert. So let me walk you through what I've found for every single one of my clients. Once we go through these steps, working in the DMs and speaking in the DMs and even speaking in real life about what you do in your offer, it improves and it becomes so much easier, right? How good does that sound to have a conversation be easy? I even have clients that before we worked through these, they would literally like avoid opening up their phone because they were scared that they were going to have messages and what those messages were going to say. So I've got you. We're going to move you through this and onto the other side of this because I know how powerful it is now to be able to have conversations with people in real life and in the DMs, and to be able to share what I do and how I do it, and to not break a sweat anymore. This was not the case a year ago. So let me just be very, very clear about that, okay? So the first thing, and this is a loaded question, right? And it's gonna this isn't something that like you're gonna answer like immediately. Like you're not gonna be able to be like, oh yeah, I know the answer to that. And if you do think that, if you're like, oh yeah, I can totally answer this question, like you're going to dig even deeper. So the first thing is you have to know really, really well what you do. Okay. And this is understanding the transformation that you provide your people. And this is not like a surface level, I help people, like I help this so that, this, like in your Instagram bio, right? This is so much deeper than that. It's looking at all of the people that you've worked with. And I've even sat down with clients and I'm like, okay, let's look at this. Let's look at all of the people that you worked with. And they go, well, Sandy, I haven't worked with anybody yet. And I'm like, no, yes, you have. Like, this can be somebody that not necessarily hired you to work with them to do this transformation, but somebody, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a situation at your work or in your workplace where you've worked somebody through this. Like, there's a reason why you're doing what you do. You didn't just like pull this out of nowhere and say, I'm going to go, do this. Like, I always talk about this. Like, I would never be like, okay, I'm going to go be a mechanic. Like, no, I have no experience with that. I have no background in that. I literally would have no idea what I'm doing. I don't even know how to pop the like hood on my car. Like, no, there's a reason why you do this. And it's either because you've taken yourself through this transformation or you've had experiences, even if they're not like paid, that's my client experiences, you've had experiences doing this before. So there's a reason why. But again, it's so much more than just I help blank so that they can blank and blank. It's really, really looking at what is transformative. Like the things that you would like pay money for somebody to fix, right? So it's so much deeper. And there's so many questions that we're going to go over in this masterclass that can really provide more clarity and questions that we can ask ourselves about this transformation. And again, these are things that we're going to sit with for a while and we're going to let marinate, right? This doesn't come really quickly, but once you see it, and it's like there's no unseeing it, right? Like you cannot go back. And once you start to recognize the commonalities between all of these situations and what you've been able to do already, that's the transformation. Like that's what it is that people are going to want to pay for. And then owning that as well. Not just like brushing over it like it's no big deal. And I know that we hear this all the time. Like what's easy for you is not easy for most people, right? Like what you do really easily is not easy for other people. So we dig into that and how you help people. And once you, again, recognize it and start to own it, like step into it is like, oh yeah, like I've done this really well, and I can do this for other people. That's when things start to begin to shift. And one of these things too is like when we talk about understanding your transformation on a really, really deep, deep level, you also have to understand then too, like who your perfect client is, right? Like who this person is that would want this thing. Because if we don't know her, or it could be him, but I'm just going to use the word her. If we don't know her, we don't know what her problems are, what her pain points are, what she's dealing with, what she really, really, really wants. Right? And if we don't know those things, again, we're kind of going in blindly. And you can see why this would cause you to freeze up when somebody asks you a simple question about your business, or even just the simple question like, oh, what do you do? You can see why. Like if you don't understand these things and you're not 100% behind them and owning them, then like you wouldn't, like you would freeze up. You would be scared. You would have like your pits would start to sweat, right? Like you would start to shake, just like mine did, just like I used to, okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing, and this is kind of more of a lead gen thing, but it goes in with this because the people that I work with are usually in the beginning phases of business, right? As we begin to grow our business and step into this authority and we grow our offer suites and we really learn how to sell, that's when people start to come to us But in the beginning, we typically have to go to them unless you're a person that understands how to use your content and your messaging to pull people in. But again, from my experience and what I found, not saying that this isn't possible, but from what I found, like that doesn't happen overnight. And we want things to start happening. So a lot of the people that I work with are learning how to do both simultaneously. We're learning how to find leads. We're learning how to go out there, like do the work, have the conversations, but then we're also learning how to use our content, use our messaging, hone in that messaging so we're pulling people in. And then the hope is that, yeah, eventually, like I'm not going to have to be doing, lead gen forever. By the time that I've gotten my audience built up and warmed up and I'm really honed in my messaging and I know how to describe what I'm doing, then people are coming to me. But in the meantime, we're going out and finding people, right? So where does she hang out? Like, what does she do? And there's a shift here doing this too. I think when a lot of people like get ready to go have these conversations, or they're going to open up their TikTok or their Instagram, like it's this thought of like, okay, I got to go find people to work with me. What can I say to get people to, reach out and work with me? There's so many mindset shifts that we can make here that are going to make this a huge difference. And again, it's like part strategy and part your energy, right? Like if you're opening up your app, your social app, and you're like, okay, I got to go find people. I got to go find people that are going to buy from me. I got to figure out what to say in order to get them to reach out and to buy from me. That energy is really crappy. Okay. So there are some shifts here. For example, like coming at this from like a connection relationship point of view, right? Like instead of saying, I need to go find people to buy from me, I'm saying, I'm going to go find people who I want to have happy hour with. And I'm just going to come at it with the intention of connecting and sharing value versus what can I say to get people to buy from me? What can I say to get people to reach out to me? Okay. So number 2 is like shifting how we go about initiating conversations both in real life and in the DMs, and how we think about lead generation, right? It's not about filling the pipeline ever. It's about building relationships. And my business has been built on relationships. It's just how I operate. It's how I always have. And I know if you're listening to this too, you're probably the same way, right? So we lead with that, okay? Now, the next part of this too, and again, like if you're a person that is in convos with people that are reaching out to you because of your content, that is amazing. A lot of people that I work with, that is their ultimate goal. So that's amazing. If you're a person though, that's also working on initiating the conversations, right? Again, we look at this as like, not like cold pitching. I'm never going to tell anybody to like, oh my God, send a DM and like cold pitch. We don't do that. Like we do not do that. We look at this as how can I connect with a person? What commonalities do I have with this person? What do I have in common with them? What do I really like that they're doing? What do I see? Like, what do I see in them that maybe I see in myself too? And initiating those conversations, right? So there are certain ways, and we're going to go over this in the masterclass too, of ways to start these conversations that don't feel icky. That is 100% always a concern for my clients when we talk about this. It's like, they're like, I don't want to I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to be icky. I don't want somebody to think that I'm just talking to them because of, because I want the sale. It's like, they're only going to think that if you think that. So stop thinking that they're thinking that. Like, stop making assumptions and let's just go out there and start helping people, okay? We're going to start serving people, because if we back up a little bit, we have a really clear understanding of how we help people, and we own that. We own it, okay? Now, the other thing that I notice in the DMs too, when I'm working with clients on this, so once we're in this conversation, right, it's the questions that we're asking. Okay. And it's questions that, like, you can ask questions that are going to keep you and send you directly to the friend zone. Okay. And what I mean by that are, these are just questions that really have nothing to do with anything. You're just trying to keep the conversation going in hopes that eventually this person will say, oh, tell me more about your offer, or, oh, tell me more about what you do. But even if they do that and you can't you can't own it and back up like exactly how what you do is going to help specifically this person, it's not going to do anything. They're going to be like, oh, cool. Like, that's awesome. Good job. Like, good for you. It's like we have to learn to speak directly to this person, this very specific person. And then again, backing up, this is why it's so important to understand who this person is, who this ideal client is. And again, not just on the surface level. It's like getting to know her. I always say to my clients, I'm like, it's almost like you feel like a stalker. Like, you know this person so well. You are so like in her mind that you know things that she's going to think before she even thinks it. You know exactly what's keeping her up at night. You know her so well that you know her even better than she knows herself. You can anticipate what she's going to think. You know what she's already tried. You know what she's already done. So we talk about asking like the right questions in regards to how you can help them. Because again, I could ask like, oh yeah, like, you know, where do you live? How many kids do you have? Me too. Like, how was your weekend? Those things aren't driving the conversation in a way that's service-based. It's just like, hey, want to be friends? Like, want to connect? And that's fine too, but you're a business owner. Like, you are in this to make money. You are in this to make an impact and to help people. And by waiting for somebody to initiate, like, oh, I really want to work with you, you're going to be waiting a while. Okay. So let's learn how to ask specific questions to keep you out of the friend zone, to keep the focus on how you help, and to keep the focus on this like idea of service and like, oh yeah, here's what I do. And it's not even necessarily like, then we get into like selling, right? In the DM. So there comes a point when you're having this conversation back and forth and you're like, okay, when is the time to like offer up either a connection call or a discovery call, or even just go straight cut to the point and offer your services? There comes a point when you're like, okay, it's time. Like, it's now or never. It's go time. And it's that same feeling that you have when you're having a conversation with somebody in person and you're like, you just know, like your intuition, you know, it's time to say the thing. And when you don't say it, you know, you're kicking yourself in the butt because you're like, that was the perfect opportunity. So like, we say like there comes a point when you actually have to step into this and start selling. And this is the other thing too, that if you don't feel comfortable selling, you're going to have trouble and you're going to freeze up. And that's just how it is. And this was something that I spent a lot of time and money investing and learning how to sell. There is an art form to selling. It is something that you can learn. It is something that you can practice. But I've realized that like there's a lot of money mindset things that come into this idea of like having these conversations, because I'll see in my clients, like I'll be like, okay, let's get into your DMs, and we open them up and we look at them. I'm like, girl, like this is the perfect time to pitch. What's the deal? Like, what's the holdup here? Like, share what you do. And it comes back to things like, I don't want to be salesy. I don't want her to think that I'm just talking to her because I want the sale. And it's all of these assumptions, all of these biases that we bring to the table ourselves that we like, that are reflected back in these people that we're having conversations with, right? So like if we think these things, then those are the type of people that we're attracting into our space. So we clean that all up. Like, there's some sort of saying for this. I have no idea what it is right now. It'll come to me, but we clean up our house first, or our like mess first, and then we can go out and we can have these conversations. But if you're not doing that, like if you have an issue with selling or sharing, you got to turn it around back on yourself and be like, hey, like, what am I bringing to the table here? What are the beliefs that I'm bringing? What are the assumptions that I'm bringing to the table? Are those actually true every single time? I know for me, for whatever reason, I'll give you an example of one of these. So when I was When I first started my coaching business, I mostly worked with teachers. I was like, okay, I'm just going to work with teachers because that's who I'm comfortable with. I love teachers. Like, I can help them out with their businesses. So I had this like assumption that every teacher that was coming to the table was not going to have the money to invest in themselves and to invest in coaching, because I knew like how little teachers got paid. And like, I'm like, well, wait a second. Is that true every single time? Like, I was a teacher. I invested a lot of money on a coach in order to navigate this. Like, what am I, like a unicorn? Am I like the only person on the planet? I'm the only teacher on the whole planet that would want to invest money? Like, no, we don't assume things about people. We don't assume. So we clean that up. We clean all of these assumptions. But first, it takes a little digging, right? And we're going to dig into this more in the masterclass too, because if you can't pitch yourself, if you can't own it, if you can't describe your transformation, if you can't describe your ideal client, if you cannot, if you don't know how to guide the conversation, like, you're going to freeze up. Okay. And you're going to stay in this space of like, I'm going to screenshot this. I'm going to send it to my coach. She's going to help me. And then I'll muddle on from there. But even then, what I found, so when I would do this too, so I would screenshot, be like, help, what do I say? My coach would help me out. I would, do the things. The next question just evoked like the same amount of anxiety and pressure and like, oh my gosh, what do I say now? Like, what do I do? I was like, I need to learn how to be able to confidently step into these conversations with authority. And that's now what I'm helping you do in this masterclass, is step into any conversation, whether it's in the DMs or it's in real life, by going through all of the things that I just described today, but going through them much deeper, asking very specific questions and working on this with you specifically. This masterclass is going to be so good, but I think the reason that I was like, I gotta record a podcast episode on this, because it's just so much more, again, than knowing what to say in the DMs and knowing like, it's not about a plug and play. It's not about a like template that you can use every single time that you open up your Instagram. It's about learning how to navigate these conversations confidently so that you feel like the authority and you see yourself as the authority, not just as somebody who's beginning and I don't know and I hope I say the right thing and oh my goodness, what if I mess this up and what do I say to get people to like me and what do I say to get people to buy from me? It is not about that. We are stepping into this like full-blown like, I have this insane amount of knowledge and expertise to share. This is who it's for. This is how I do it. And now it's go time. And let's have the conversation. Because these conversations, like one DM conversation, if you think about it, is not going to make or break your entire business. Okay? No, it's not. It's this accumulative energy and confidence over time that you build up. And that's how you see yourself as the authority. And when you step into that, then your people start to step into that and start to see you that way. And that's when they cannot wait to work with you. That's when you have the wait list. That's when you have so many inquiries that you cannot, you can't keep up, right? And I know that's what you're craving. That's what you want. And let's get you there. So if you're interested in joining me for this masterclass, it's happening on Thursday, September 5th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. I will, of course, drop a link in the show notes here so you can easily sign up. Or, of course, you can always come DM me over on Instagram. Always. My DMs are always open for you. Let's have a combo. I'm not scared of them. Don't worry anymore. A year ago, it might have been different. But the masterclass, okay, it's part of my special birthday celebration launch here. I'm dropping some really fun offers throughout the beginning of September because my birthday is on September 12th. I'm going to be 40 this year, you guys, and I am so excited. Most people, when I tell them like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be 40, they're like, oh, really? Wow, how do you feel about that? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so freaking excited. Like, it's going to be the best year. I just know this is going to be like the best decade of my life. And I'm so excited to step into it. But anyways, my birthday's on the 12th. So the masterclass is only $12 until the 12th. So this is a steal, you guys. And like what we talked about today in the last 30 minutes is just like a scratch the surface of what I've got planned for this masterclass. I am going to lay it all out for you, all of the questions, all of the things that I went through, all of the questions I asked and grappled with and worked with in order to really, again, step into the authority in this space. And so I'm excited. I've helped many, many women do the same thing, and I'm really excited to share this with you. So you can grab it for $12 before the 12th. You also have an option if you're interested in upgrading for a one-to-one call. You and I will sit down and we will go through all of this, just you and I together. It'll be personalized. It'll just be you and me. And we can really hash this out. I know for me, that was a big one, like getting that, like somebody in there with me. I was mortified at first. Like I was like, wait, if I sign up for this, like I have to actually like give you my password and like my username, and like you're gonna get in there and like see what I'm saying. Like that was really scary for me. But I also know that was a pivotal moment for me because it brought all of these things to light. It brought how I was describing my transformation and the work that I was doing. It brought about how I was not clear on who this was actually for, and all of the other things. It brought about very much all of those nasty money mindset, those money beliefs those assumptions, those biases that I was bringing to the table. And that was a turning point for me in my business, because once I was able to work through all of those things, now I'm able to have conversations without freaking out and without sweating and without a second thought, because I know that what I do is so much bigger than any one conversation. But it was something that I needed to work through. And so I know that it's something that you need to work through too. And I am here to support you. So there's an option to upgrade to after the masterclass. We'll schedule that. It's $212 for the upgrade, and we will get in there and we will get you totally situated. So I'm looking forward. Enjoy the rest of your week. Happy Monday, you guys. Hopefully tomorrow's Labor Day, so hopefully you're taking the day off to rest and relax and enjoy the day off. And fall is right around the corner too. I'm so excited. I love fall. Okay, you guys, have a great rest of your day, week, evening, whenever you're listening to this, and I will see you at the masterclass on Thursday. I can't wait. Okay, love you guys. Bye.